Welcome to Candid Conversations. I am your co-host, Coach Ken Canion, a.k.a. the professor, a.k.a. the doctor, a.k.a.
my boot thing.
Your boo
How
thing.
you doing, Ken Canyon?
Hey, how are you? And
I
you are? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were going to say that.
He always got to take over everything. No. Hello, and welcome again to Candid Conversations with the Grand Canions. I am Karen Canyon, Simply Net, and to Ken, his Wookie.
Okay.
Why you call me Wookie?
Remember I used to give you all those nicknames? I used to call you.
You tried to call me somebody else's nickname at
It
first.
wasn't anybody
Yes,
else's
it was.
It wasn't.
Yes, it was, because I saw a little letter that she had left, a little card, and she signed it, little shorty or something like that, or big heavy or something like that.
What?
Big head, big
No,
little
no.
heavy or something.
No.
And I said, "Oh, that's not my original name. It was something."
You're exaggerating.
So
you're
Wookie, is that original?
Wookie is original. Razzie is original.
I remember Razzie. That was
And whatever else. I used to have a lot of different names. All right. Look, here we are back at the show. First of all, thank you for. If you like this content, please subscribe to our channel and click that notification bell so that you will be notified when we drop a new episode here on Candid Conversation. We are real, raw, and relatable. I'm the raw one, but last week.
You're real and relatable too, but you are wrong.
Last week. Getting over the relationship.
I thought that was a good episode last week. I thought it was a really good episode.
I thought it was a good episode. I think that it didn't get the, a lot of the comments, how like stuff we do about. But I think people really understood it because nobody wants to talk about breakups.
Right.
Nobody wants to really talk about that. We try to get that out of our mind unless we're going through it.
Right.
So, I love it the way we tackle all the different issues. And so tonight, we're going to talk about different questions.
So a lot of times we get letters, but sometimes in our DMs we get questions. Sometimes in the comments we get questions. So tonight I just wanted to tackle some of the questions that people ask us. And so if you want to go ahead and tell them about our sponsors.
We are sponsored by, we have two good sponsors. One, the Relationship Academy. It is an academy dedicated to help women, prepare women, equip women to have happy, healthy relationships with men who want happy, healthy relationships. So if that's you want to learn how to communicate, handle conflict, all of the above, deal with attachment styles, et cetera, go to therelationshipacademy.co, therelationshipacademy.co, and join us. All right. So get it.
So some of these things I'm going to join in. I love. I know you don't. Well, not that you don't, but I love to sit here and ask you questions. Number one, I learn. I feel like that you're so knowledgeable. And you are the expert, according to Tammy Roman.
Why are you laughing?
Because I can.
No. I ain't.
That was a woody answer right there. Because I can.
I'm not asking you why are you laughing. Was something about that funny?
No, I just I love that.
I be telling Tammy I was Ken before I was Coach Ken.
Who knows better than me? So, okay. So one of the questions that I ran up on.
You ran up on?
Yeah. Well, like going through our DMs and going through some of the comments. Sometimes in the comments, people don't comment on the actual video or they'll ask a question.
Okay.
And so here's some of the questions that I ran up on.
All right.
While I was running, I ran up on these.
I'm with you.
One is, what are some signs that your relationship is turning toxic? How do you know that this is not a relationship that we just need to work on some things? Because sometimes it's a thin line. So how do I know that it's actually toxic?
Okay. When one of the ways that we know the relationship is toxic,
Or turning toxic or is toxic.
when one of the primary functions of the relationship is to hurt you. For instance, when people argue, it's not solving the problem. Is I want to hurt you because you hurt me. I want to say something about you. I want to get low. You know when they say when they go low, we go lower. Some people say we go lower, or some people. Michelle Obama coined the phrase "we go high when you go low." But when people go low and you go lower, that's part of it being toxic because it's no longer us against the problem. It's us against each other.
Ooh.
You know.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You said it's no longer about us against the problem. It's us against each other. I talked to a young lady today who is frustrated. She's very, very frustrated in her relationship. And the conversation, I didn't say it, but the conversation turned toxic. It wasn't her intention to be toxic.
Okay.
She was trying to point out something. And so how do you share with somebody that they need to change something without it becoming combative or me saying things? How can we say gentle parenting? So how can I do that gently and get the point across?
First off, let's go back to your original question. How do I know it's toxic? Let's look at toxic. The word toxic means that anything that is toxic is begin to poison you. That means it's poisoning your system. Okay. So in a relationship, what poisons our system? What poisons the relationship? Communication, lack of communication, and then inappropriate communication, miscommunication, all of that poisons the relationship. Because I always tell people the number one reason relationships don't work, number one, is because of uncommunicated expectation and needs. I have an expectation.
Uncommunicated
Expectation and needs. That is the reason, number one reason. It's not infidelity. It is not finances. All of those things are contributing factors. However, it starts with communication or the lack of communication.
How crazy is that? And how often do you find that people have uncommunicated expectations?
Every day.
And they hold people against that.
Yeah. Okay. Let me prove it to you.
Okay.
In our relationship.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Has there ever been a time where you wanted to say something to me, but you either didn't say it because you didn't know how I would react, or you didn't know how to say it?
Yes.
Exactly. Every day. Even us, we have good relationship. Remember when our relationship was on the rocks 16, 17 years ago? It was because of that reason. Because both of us were feeling something, and the only time we would communicate, it was anger. It would come out. We didn't know how to express it. I know I didn't.
Right.
And it would present itself as angry, frustration, and what happens when it presented that way, you couldn't receive it that way. And so what happened? We got more of the same when you're not equipped to deal with it. So a lot of people have never been trained on how to communicate. That is the reason why we're having the challenge. And you can go to will you please, what I want to say in the bio, we're doing a 5-day challenge. It's called Communicating to Get Your Needs Met. Go there, click on the link, join it. And I'm going to teach people how to communicate, why to communicate, what to do when you don't know.
Okay. That takes me to my next.
Okay. I like when you ask me questions.
I love it when I do too. So the person asked for 3, but I'm just going to ask you for 1.
Okay.
What's an effective strategy for resolving conflict? One strategy, something effective when solving conflict.
Okay. So I have to give it to you in ways, in more than 10 steps.
Okay.
Because conflict there is no one step that solves
Okay.
conflict.
Okay.
First of all, I always say you got to be willing to resolve the conflict. So allow me to give you an example. If let's say we had a neighbor and the neighbor has a dog and you've worked on this garden in the backyard and this garden is beautiful. It's got tomatoes and it's got all kinds of strawberries, fruit, everything in it, right? And every time that dog comes out, that dog scratches your tomatoes up and messes up your garden, right? Now, you've got to go over and talk to the neighbor, but you have two objectives. Number one, first objective is you got to solve the problem. Dog got to stop tearing up my garden. Second objective, maintain the relationship. Okay? But what do people do? They will go over and tell you what's on their mind, solve the problem, but the relationship is gone. Or they will keep it inside. Don't say nothing about it. Don't say nothing. They'll maintain the relationship, but they never solve the problem. So you have two objectives. We got to solve the problem and maintain the relationship. So how do we do that? So when you go into conflict, the first objective is I want to solve the problem we have, not the person, the problem.
Okay. So constant. Well, do you find that people concentrate more on the problem than they do the solution, though?
Yes.
And so
Yes.
is that
I can
part
always
of the
tell you
problem?
what you do. Can I tell you what you do wrong? You always blank. You always blank. And I told somebody the other day, I said, listen, if you want to help me, don't come to me with just a problem. You can identify the problem, but come to me with some solutions. So when I come to you now, what I try to do is I identify the problem, but I always say, hey, I thought about what we could do to solve this. I come to you with a solution. Why is that important? Here's why it's important. Because when a person comes to you with a problem, you know what the mind hears? The mind hears that I'm a problem. And what do? I don't want to solve that. Well, you need to do this. You need to figure this out. And so what I say is when you identify the problem, say, here, and there's a way to do that. You do it by using I language. Here's what I notice. I notice you and I are not as intimate as what we used to be. I notice that we don't make love as much. This is what I noticed. I didn't say you wasn't giving me none. That might be what I'm thinking. You ain't giving me that thing no more. But then I say, here's what I feel about it. Now, what just happened? I identify the thing I noticed and how I feel about it. But I didn't say you. Your mind perceives it differently. That's what we're going to discuss in the challenge.
How does a person can navigate between different communication styles? In the beginning, you and I were on Venus and Mars by the way that we communicated.
Okay.
Even before we got married, you would say to me a lot, you need to tell people how you feel. You need to, and so that was not, it took years for me to be able to really express to you what was going on in my head and my heart. So how does one, or how do you navigate between communication styles? Everybody might not have the grace and that you had with me. You know what I'm saying?
The first thing is you've got to decide that the way I communicate is not working for me. See, most people...
Because communication is not one size fit all.
No, it's not. But you got to say, okay, there are 4 words I don't use. Something is right or wrong or good or bad. The only 2 words or 2 things I focus on is it working or not working? And you've got to ask yourself, number one, is my communication style working? Is it conducive to me getting what I want? Because a lot of people communicate, but it ain't getting you what you want. You're communicating very aggressively, and it's not getting you the relationship you want. You're not getting in a relationship because of your communication style. So number one. Second thing is begin getting the training, the coaching on how to communicate to get what I want. How to communicate better, because a lot of people say, well, it's just me. I'm just going to communicate the way that I do. And the problem is it's not working for you. it's not getting you the result. And you keep doing it. It's insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results.
What would be the first piece of advice? I know for me, it was speaking more.
Yes.
For you, it may have been
Shutting
speaking
up.
less.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But it's something like you can't be so gun-ho on being right all the time.
Right.
And so it's something that it has been a practice. It didn't come natural for me.
Right.
Speaking up and using my voice. So I know how we got through it. But how do you get through that and still love each other in the end?
I mean, honestly, baby, it's just like what we did. It's the work. Mm-hmm. You got to be willing to do. You got to be willing to do the work. It's just like changing your body. You know, you lost 100 pounds, and the question is, you doing work. It is never devoid of the work we have to do. A lot of people think they can have something without the damn work. And so what I want to ask you a question before you ask me another question. What made you say, I need to change my communication style? Because you used to just shut down. You'd be like, and I'd be asking you questions and you looking at me like, and I'm thinking, like, do I have to do it in sign language? That's what I was wondering. So my question is, what made you decide?
I think I decided it, or I changed when I realized that it was a form of punishment. That wasn't my intention. I wasn't trying to punish you. I just, it's important to me not to speak out of anger, because I know that words are something that you cannot take back. Mm-hmm. And so while I was angry, I was just going to shut up. And then, I was never going to be, this is my thought, I was never going to be guilty of saying something that I would regret. And so I would say nothing. And then in my head, I'm just going to be honest, I would say, if I can live on this earth without talking to my brother, I can go 2 more days without talking to Ken. And that was my...
Are you serious?
Yeah. I mean, and so it was, you were someone who loved to talk. And so what better way of getting you by not speaking? And that was a form of punishment. And I never, ever wanted to punish my husband. That was never my intention. And when I realized that I was punishing you, so I had to change. And it was hard for me because that's something I've done all my life. Go into my little clam, just shut it down and be quiet.
What?
I just shut the door.
I want to ask you guys out there, how many of you, you know that you need to communicate something? You want to, you desire to. However, because of either you didn't know how they were going to react, or this is something you've been doing all your life, you just suppress what you're feeling and you didn't say it. How many of you have done that? And I want you to put in the comment section me. And the reason why I say, and also I want you to think about this, and you know that it is not an effective way to be.
I'm going to ask you, I'm going to flip it on you. What made you change? Because you used to come in like,
right.
but you don't anymore. Like you do not. And so what made you change that?
There's a couple of things. Number one, our producer, my man AP Palmer, he's sitting right there in front of me, right? He told me one day, and I was angry about everything. And he said one day, only a really good friend can tell you this, because they're not worried about, they're not intimidated by your relationship. Mm-hmm. He says, nobody likes you. In our case, nobody likes you because you're always angry. You're always blowing up. And first thing I said, well, F them. Mm-hmm. They ain't got to be around me. I don't give a bleep, right? But it stuck with me. It stuck. You know how sometimes somebody can say something to you? He was like, well, okay then. You see, that's why nobody don't like you, right? Because of what you're doing right now. And he went about his business and ate him a sandwich. Like it was nothing. And I began to think about it. That's the first time. And then the second time was when you would say, when we were going through our stuff, and you said, you know, I can't receive like that. You're always raising your voice and my feelings matter. And you said, because I feel it, it's valid. And because I used to think stuff you were saying was ridiculous. But those two things, that situation with Palmer, and when you said that, made me consider me, made me reflect on me. And I realized the people that I love don't think that what I'm doing is conducive to our relationship. I gotta change. Wow.
So you checked.
But I came to the threshold of my own understanding.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Forgive me.
See, you know what?
You're about to be deep. I'm sorry. Forgive me.
You know, you stepped on it. You stepped on my deepness.
I'm sorry, baby.
I can't even be deep now.
Go ahead, baby. I'm sorry.
No. I was just gonna say that self-reflection is important, but many of us don't want to self-reflect on who we are versus who we want to become. That, you know, that's all I want to say.
It is hard to look at yourself and truly check yourself. You know, Michael Jackson said, you know, look at the man in the mirror and ask him to change his ways. That's so hard.
Wow, Joe did.
That is so hard to see your flaws. And when you have people in your life like a Palmer that can like put the mirror up to your face, right, and you actually see yourself and not get offended.
Oh, no, I got offended.
You could have been so...
I got offended like a mother.
No, but I'm saying you could have gotten so wrapped up in the, you know, been offended by his words that you didn't see yourself.
Yeah, you know what the difference is?
And it's important to have people in your life, I say, that can pull your chain. Like everybody can't... Don't everybody don't... Right? The people don't just start like checking me. Like the people that can check me, I already got the check. They already know they can check me. I don't need no new checkers. That's not what I'm asking for. But it's important to not just have yes men in your life. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely.
To have people that'll pull your chain and don't care. Like Linnell, she don't care.
She don't care because
Kim's gonna always come in soft. She gonna tell me the truth, but she's gonna come in soft. She gonna pat me on the back and rub my hand.
Friend.
Hey, friend. Yeah, Linnell just gonna be like...
that stuff you did with foul as hell.
Yeah. But they're my chain pullers. They keep me...
Chain pullers?
Yeah, they'll pull my chain.
You know why? You know how a person becomes a chain puller? You want to know how?
How?
Because no matter who you are, that person wants you to win. See, no matter who you are, that person wants you to win. So they can be the chain puller because no matter who you are, they still love you.
That's so true.
So you know that they still love you, and so what they're telling you is because they love you. That's you can only become a chain puller.
Yeah.
When you embody. If I believe that you don't have my best interest at heart, you can't be a chain puller in my life.
Yeah.
You can't be.
Yeah.
Can't happen. Oprah said in a video, you can't even be around somebody that has an inkling of jealousy about you. You cannot have a friend that has an inkling. Your friends, they ain't jealous of you at all. No matter, they want you to rise no matter what.
No matter what. That is so true.
And my friends who I call my friends, they want me to rise. They don't have an inkling of jealousy. They happy if I do something. I'm happy if they do something.
That is so true.
And those can be the chain yankers. You know, that's the only way you become one. So I got a question for you. I know we're gonna wrap up in a minute. And thank you for asking these questions. I like answering from you. I didn't think you'd be listening to me when I be coaching sometimes.
I listen all the time.
I swear.
Well, not all the that wasn't. That part wasn't true. I listen a lot of the times.
In other words, you really don't listen.
I listen a lot of the times. I do. I can't hear what the other person is saying, but I hear what you say. Sometimes I wish you would unplug so I could hear some stuff, but you keep that under wrap. But I can't hear what they're saying, but I hear what you say. And it helps me a lot with my, like, sometimes you have no idea that you're coaching me as you're coaching.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm just getting it for free.
I'm coaching myself sometimes too.
Yeah.
I'm coaching myself sometimes. Yeah. So let's get, let's get. Oh, I got to ask one question though.
What's that?
And here's the one question that I want to ask you. Mm-hmm. You were never one, when I met you, for personal development. Like books, tapes. Now you would read 1 million books, novels on a threesome and, threesome or secret love. You would read those kind of books, and I'm like, why is she reading that mess?
So I can be your secret love.
No. Remember that time when you told me that you didn't want to be my secret?
I didn't want to be your secret friend.
This when you bold up. You bold up. You like, when you bold up, you like, look.
That's because that lady said, oh, is this your girlfriend? You said, she's my special friend. You don't dig in the special friend's back the way you be digging up my back. Really?
You know that dude, that comic Steve, who be eating all the time, has something written on his, I don't know if you follow him, but he has something written on his chest, like, that's me right now. He just be looking around and you read that right there. Okay. All righty then. You do kind of dig in some, you dig in backs. It's not based on, you just be a back digger.
Anyway.
All right.
I don't want to be your special friend. You better be glad it wasn't no social media back then, because I would have blew his spots with a Z up. All of them.
I would like to say, in a moment like,
all of them.
In a moment like this, I'd like to bring in our sponsor. And that sponsor is the Pocket Communication Coach. When you don't know what to say, like now, you go to the Pocket Communication Coach, you type in what you want to say, and the Pocket Communication Coach will spit out exactly how you need to say. So just be quiet. Go to pocketcommunicationcoach.com. It is an AI software developed by yours truly. Notice I got quiet as hell at this point. I'm going to go to Pocket Communication Coach, type it in, and it's going to tell me exactly what to say, even though I programmed it.
Baby,
back to your scheduled program.
I would have had pictures of him in the grocery store tearing out food stamps. I would have had all that. All that would have been on social media. Because that was my man, my man, my man.
Who started that my man stuff?
You and me, we go together. I don't know. What's that song? We go together. Yep. I would have had that as my song on all our pictures.
Y'all, why is she taking her time? Listen, don't forget the moment of truth. The moment of truth game that we created. I created this game long before everybody else. So we got 2 versions. We got the regular version, the one that she got, right? She's holding up. All right. Then we got the sex version, the moment of truth sex edition.
You and me.
And the reason why you want this game is because it's going to help you to know the people in a fun, very fun way. All right. You want me to ask you a question?
I don't think we've done this right here.
All right. You want to ask it to me?
You receive a gift you've always wanted from your ex.
Oh.
Do you send it back and tell your current boo? Keep it and keep quiet? Lie and say you bought it for yourself? Ask your current boo if you could keep it.
Okay. Repeat that.
Okay. He's sweating. He's sweating. I need to. Hey, it looks like I need to pull off my
Cartier, that bust down Cartier. Okay. Go ahead. A bust down Cartier is a watch that I want.
You receive a gift you always wanted from your ex. Do you, A, send it back and tell your current boo? B, keep it and keep quiet? C, lie and say you bought it for yourself? Or D, ask your current boo if you can keep it?
Okay, I'm gonna give you 2 answers. What I would do now and what I would have did early on. Early on, I would have did C. I'd have said I bought it myself and I kept it. That's early on. But now, you know what I would do?
What?
I would ask you, could I keep it? I wouldn't just send it back right away.
I would send it back.
If it was a gift that I really wanted, I would ask you. Now, if you forced me to send it back, I would let you see it, hold it, because I want that. But I want that. You know, I collect watches. I want that Cartier watch. And if somebody, my ex, just sent it to me, I would be like,
I would send it back.
You would.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't tell me?
Yeah, I would tell you, but I would send it back.
Okay, audience, what would you do? Read it again. Nick, can you read it again? Look at her. She like she got sad. I would tell you.
I done put that shit up.
I would tell you though. I would ask you. I would try to convince you.
Yeah, I think it was your ex
bought you the gift
that you really wanted.
The gift you really wanted. Would you A, send it back?
Send it back and tell your boo.
Yeah.
B, keep it.
No. C was keep it and tell her that you bought it.
Send it back. A would just keep it. B was say that I bought it for myself, and D ask you if you could keep it.
Yeah.
Ask the boo.
Yeah. I would ask you, baby. I would at least ask. I would tell you the truth.
I would say hold it.
Hold it.
You said, look, you would let me hold it and be like, look at these, look at these, rub my fingers across the jewels in it.
All right.
Did your ex send two? Is it matching?
That ain't what the card said.
Now I'm asking you. You talking about I would be like,
she don't know you.
He'll hold it. Rub your hands across it. I always wanted this. Okay, so this is your second out of the naughty box. You get whenever you get ready, you can cash them in. I need to see what they're worth.
Now, out of the naughty box,
one can't be worth no round the world. Like you gotta cash in more than one.
What if you just want a little head? Let me get that. I just take the little head tonight. Let me do that. Okay.
If you eat it, of course, you can never cash it in.
Oh. Do I need to give it back?
Remember, I said if you eat it.
Oh, well, let's put it.
Yeah, you have to cash those in.
I ain't cashed this one in yet.
Yeah, so like if you get let's say if you get 5 of them, you get around the world, baby.
I ain't gonna wait.
Let them stack up, baby.
Let the head go. I'm pushing that all in. They got to wait for no round the world. They see what y'all don't realize. That means that's 5 different pops.
Around the world is not 5 pops.
No. That's what I'm saying. That's just 1 pop. It could be 2, but just 1. But that right there is...
Hey, guys, thank you so much for joining us on this evening.
5 different pops.
We appreciate you so very much. We hope that every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock you are tuning in to MTV's Caught in the Act Unfaithful, where my super duper fine, intelligent expert of a husband, Coach Ken, is the relationship coach on there. I am so super duper proud of you. Every time I see you on the screen, I get this little rumbling in my stomach. Most of the time it's gas, but every now and then it's love.
All right. We appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all on the next one. Peace. You see the way I brought that PCEC in?
That was good.